Hey guys, I'm Sean from Scout Studios. So today I'm going to show you guys how I created this scene. This is actually two shots from a project I'm working on, and I'm going to show you guys how I created the second scene. For the first one, we'll need After Effects for the screen animation, so I thought maybe I shouldn't do that. But if you want me to do a tutorial on that, leave a comment below. If I get about 40 comments, I'll make sure I'll make one for that as well. So if you're new here, you can find more cool tutorials in my channel, so make sure you smash that subscribe button. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and alright then, with that said, let's get on with the video. So first I'm gonna take two screenshots like this and get it to a photo editing software like Photoshop or GIMP and merge them together like this. Now move to Blender, delete the default scene with X, and go to the top view with 7, and with Shift A I'm gonna add a background image. Find an image of an iPhone screen and load it up into Blender, scale it up a bit. Now I'm going to load the image we created in the start of the video. If you don't see the option images as planes, go to edit, preferences, and in add-ons enable the images as planes add-on. It's built in Blender, so just enable it. And now Shift A and go to images and select images as planes and select your image. So the image in the video might not be the same two screenshots in the start of the video, but all you need is a long image. Don't kill me in the comments. Now I'm going to switch to textured view mode and go to top view with 7 and scale the plane to fit the iPhone. And now with Shift A I'm going to add a plane, select it, and move it on top of our image plane and scale it up so that it fits the iPhone as well. Scale it in the y-axis with SY like that, and go to wireframe view, and with Shift A I'm gonna add a cube this time. Scale it up so that it fits the iPhone as well. Scale it in the y-axis now, SY like that. Now I'm going to tab into edit mode and select edge select mode and select the 4 edges. You can switch to edge select mode with 2 as well. Select the 4 corner edges. Before that, tab into object mode again, and with Control A select apply scale to the cube. So now tab back into edit mode, and with Control B we can bevel the edges. So Control B, and with the mouse wheel we can add more edges into the corner, and so it's better to add a lot of edges into this because we'll be using this cube to cut the two planes. I'm going to right click and apply shade smooth and go to the normals, auto smooth, and now select the square over here and viewport display, make it wire, and in the outliner select this filter and the render and the PC button, switch off render in the cube so it won't render in the scene. So now select the first plane on the top and add modifiers, add a Boolean modifier and make it intersect, and select the cube and do the same thing to the bottom image plane as well. Intersect and select the cube, and there we have it. It looks good. Now I'm going to select the top plane, tab in edit mode and right click, subdivide it, select the black box over there, make it 20 cuts, or maybe we can make it something like 30. Yeah, 30 looks good. And now I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier because that's what we'll be using as the liquid, so it needs a fair bit amount of geometry to work with. And I'm going to add a solidify modifier to this as well, and the thickness looks kind of good for me for this. For the bottom plane I'm going to tab into edit mode, and with E I'm going to extrude it down like this. E extrude, and this looks good for me. Now go to the materials tab down here, and I'm gonna create a new material and make it something like white. Just leave it like that, and I'm gonna go select the face select mode, alt select these edges and select the bottom face as well and assign that material. So now if you go to texture view mode, you can still see these artifacts in these edges. So for that, what I'm gonna do is select the cube, go to the materials tab and add the white material we just created, and now it should be fixed. I'm also gonna hide the top plane and select the bottom and move it in the y-axis with GY, place it over there, something like that. Looks good. Unhide the top plane with Alt H, and I'm gonna go to the physics properties, and now I'm gonna add a dynamic paint and select canvas and add canvas. And in the surface type, I'm going to select waves, and I'm going to switch on anti-aliasing. Now I'm going to create a sphere, Shift A, UV sphere, and we are going to use that as the brush to our canvas. Scale it down a bit with S and move it up with G, Z, and with Control 2 I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier, or go to the modifiers tab and add the subdivision surface modifier. So shade smooth, right click, shade smooth, and go back to the physics tab and add a dynamic paint and select it, select the brush and add brush. Alright, so that looks good. So now if you move the sphere, you can see there's something going on, but it's not actually working because we have to play the animation for it to work. Now when you hit the play button, you can see the waves are working as expected. So now we can animate our sphere and create some interesting simulations out of this. So to animate the sphere, I'm going to move to the first frame and select our sphere, and with GY push it back to it somewhere over here and add a location rotation scale keyframe with I. You can enable this over here so that you don't have to add keyframes all the time. So move to the 30th keyframe, place the sphere over there, and move to the 60th keyframe and place it over there. And somewhere in the middle, just raise it up so that we have something that looks like a bouncing animation. And go to the 90th frame or the 91st and drag it down, and 120th, just move it out. So we might change the timing of the animation later, but for now this is how the animation simulation looks like. So if you play the animation, looks like it bounces like that. If you want to know more about how to create a bounce animation, you can go to my channel and watch this video where I go in depth on how to create a bounce. And also you can see the mesh looks kind of weird right now, so make sure you always put the dynamic paint modifier on top of all the modifiers so that it looks smooth, right? So put it on top of especially the subdivision surface modifier. So make sure you put it all on top. Now let's switch to the animation tab and play with the graph editor a bit to get a smooth animation. So now I'm going to open the graph editor in here, down there, and unhide everything that we don't need, the rotations and the scales, Y location, X location, just leave the Z location. Press the home key and select these points, and with S0, I'm going to scale them down, even this S0, and now scale it up over here, scale this up a bit as well, and scale this up as well. So now if you play it, you can see the animation looks kind of good, but the Y location's kind of messed up. So I'm going to straighten up the Y curve over here. So what I'm gonna do is try to straighten this as much as I can, move it down a bit, move these points up, and now if you play the animation, it looks pretty smooth. Okay. You can also hide the Z location. Select all these points and with S0 scale them down as well so that you have a better, smoother animation. Now we're going to select the bottom plane and animate that according to our bounds. So I'm going to select that, go to my texture view, hide the top plane, and add a keyframe over here with I, and add a keyframe in the first frame, and where it bounces I'm going to add a keyframe there as well. I move it a tad bit forward, and then again add a keyframe over here and move forward and move it a bunch like that, so something like that. So yeah, it looks good, and that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to set the end keyframe to 80, unhide the top plane, and add a glass material to it. New material, select a glass material, and I'm going to add the same glass material to the UV sphere as well. Now in the shading tab, I'm going to decrease the roughness to 0, go back to layout view and hide the cube over here as well. So now we're going to start doing our lighting, and I'm going to add an area lamp, raise it up somewhere like that, and I'm also going to add a plane, scale it up, S20. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to divide my screen in half like that, and add my camera and get a nice angle like this. Like this looks good. And with Control Alt 0 I can move my camera somewhere over here, or go to view and lock camera to view, and with 0 I can go to my camera and place my camera like that, and disable lock camera from view again. And now okay, this looks good. And in the camera settings, viewport display pass part out, I'm going to decrease that opacity down a bit and move the camera in the x-axis a bit as well. And now in the lights, I'm going to increase the strength to about 10 and move it in the x-axis a bit, scale it up and move it somewhere like that a bit, and scale it a little bit more as well, scale it down in the y-axis. Maybe make the strength about 20, and Shift D to duplicate the lamp and move it up somewhere like that. Looks good. Okay. So before you render your scene, make sure you select the glass plane, the top plane over here, and go to the physics properties, and in cache make sure you bake the simulation. And okay, before that make sure you make the end keyframes. I'm gonna make it 80, like in the animation it's 80, and delete bake and rebake it. And yeah, so make sure you bake the animation before you hit render. So if you create this scene, tag me on Instagram so I can see your work and maybe leave some feedback as well. And follow me on Instagram. I'm posting more of my work there before I upload on YouTube. So what kind of tutorial do you want me to make next? Whatever you want, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. I have a lot of videos like this in my channel, so you guys can check them out as well. So if you want to create this scene, click here, and if you want to watch this animation loop playlist, you can click here for that. So that's it for this video, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.